done.
Live and local with coverage you can count on. This is WNEM TV5 News at 5.
Breaking news, former priest Robert Deland will spend up to 15 years in prison. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Meg McLeod.
And I'm David Custer. Deland was arrested last year accused of sexual assault. He was found not guilty during his first trial, but last month he pleaded no contest to several charges after prosecutors prepared to reveal new evidence.
Today, he learned his fate. TV5's James Felton was at that hearing. He's live at the Saginaw Diocese with details. James?
Meg, David, when Robert Deland woke up this morning, he woke up in his own bed. When he wakes up tomorrow morning, his living arrangements will be a lot different.
I'm very sorry that the community has gone through all of this and the embarrassment. I'm very, very sorry about that.
Former pastor Robert Deland apologizing in a Saginaw County courtroom. In March, Deland pleaded no contest to second-degree criminal sexual conduct, gross indecency between males, and imitation of a controlled substance manufacture and distribution. Today, Judge Darnell Jackson sentenced Deland to 2 to 15 years in prison and 5 years probation. Deland must also register as a sex offender.
It wasn't an unexpected sentence. It was a fair and appropriate resolution within the applicable guideline range.
Prosecutor Melissa Hoover hopes Deland's punishment brings his victims some level of justice and healing.
There have been times where they have been hesitant, but they have powered through and they have persevered through this whole thing, and it is truly an honor and a privilege to work with these young men.
The father of one of those young men met with us after the proceedings.
I wish it could have been a little bit longer, as in like 5 to 15.
The father did not want to show his face or reveal his name. He tells us his son has been through and is still dealing with a lot because of what Deland did to him.
I think he's a monster. I hope that he finds what he needs in prison. I hope that, you know, he can come to he can own up to what he's done, and I feel that he owes everyone an apology.
Now again, Deland is sentenced from anywhere from 2 to 15 years in prison, which means he could face up to 15 years in prison or be out in as little as 2. And coming up at 6, we'll hear reaction from the Catholic Diocese of Saginaw. For now, reporting live and local in Saginaw County, James Felton, WNEM TV5.
James, thank you. We are following more breaking news tonight. A 3-judge panel has found the state's congressional and legislative maps are unconstitutionally gerrymandered. They've now ordered that state lawmakers redraw at least 34 districts for the 2020 election.
The judges are giving the GOP-led legislature until August 1st to submit those new maps. The decision also requires special state Senate elections to be held in 2020 instead of 2022 as scheduled.
A fight for clean water landing on the steps of the state capitol on the anniversary of the fateful switch. Today marks 5 years since the city of Flint began pulling drinking water from the Flint River. A failure to implement proper corrosion control caused lead to leach into the water. Residents say they're still feeling the effects, and the fight is far from over. TV5's Rachel McCrary was there as folks loaded up to head out. She joins us live in Flint with the message they were hoping to send. Rachel.
Well, David, this was certainly not an anniversary that anyone wanted to celebrate. 5 years later, and people are still asking for a complete end to the water crisis, an ordeal that started when the water supply was switched from the Detroit water system to using the Flint River water.
First, we were poisoned. Then we were lied to about the poison. And when the truth came out, our government still has refused to make Flint whole.
April 25th is an anniversary Claire McClinton says no one in Flint could forget. It's a dark day that stays fresh in the minds of people impacted.
Today, we will be heard.
Yeah. Dozens gathered in Flint this morning to remind each other and government leaders of what they've went through. The group stopped at the water plant, then headed off to the state capitol to protest the crisis. But what will it take for residents to have confidence in the water again?
We have to get confirmation from the experts and not just the government.
And the government does say the water is safe, with the state's latest round of testing showing results comparable to what they were before the water crisis, and well below the federal action levels. But as McClinton said, that's not enough for residents, many of whom blame the state for what happened. Neglect of proper corrosion control methods caused lead to leach into the water supply while the city was under state emergency management control. Some protesters say trust can never be restored.
I don't care if they put gold in it. We will never try water in Flint.
Nearly 8,000 lead pipes have been replaced in the city. 5 years later, these Flint residents are asking for things like a declaration of a federal disaster and for the city to stop water shutoffs. They say they will continue to fight until their demands are met.
We are Flint strong. Amen. There's something in our DNA that says we're going to survive.
And beginning at 6, we'll be talking to Flint Mayor Karen Weaver about the progress the city has made and also her thoughts on the 5th anniversary of the Flint Water Crisis. In Flint, Rachel McCrary, WNEM TV5.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Now, as Rachel just said, residents continue to find it hard to trust the state government. Today, the new administration and the governor herself were in Flint with the hopes of rebuilding the trust that was lost during the water crisis. TV5's Jonathan Jackson continues our team coverage to find out how she plans to do it.
Out here in Flint today, Governor Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist came out to talk with the people of Flint on the 5-year anniversary of the water crisis.
What can we do on this anniversary? And we thought bringing the community together.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist on the ground today, meeting with residents and leaders in Flint for a day of service at Hasselbring Park, where they talk with the people still suffering from the Flint water crisis 5 years later.
The pipes that are bringing water to our homes are made of lead in a lot of communities, and most communities, frankly. And we've got to get serious about replacing them. And that's why, as we fix the roads with a gas tax, it will give us the ability to put the general fund money out of potholes and back into the general fund so we can get serious about replacing pipes across the state.
However, Governor Whitmer says it is not lost on her that many of Flint's residents have already lost faith in their government, but explains while she was not in office when the crisis started, she does, however, plan to end it.
You know, once trust is lost, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. It starts with showing up and listening and living our values, and that's exactly what my budget does as introduced. And I've got a fight on my hands with the legislature, but I need the help of everyone to make sure that we deliver so that people can count on government.
And for Governor Whitmer, rebuilding that trust and also keeping Flint's water clean is on her main agenda. Reporting in Flint, Jonathan Jackson, WNEM TV5.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. And stay with TV5 all evening long as we'll have continuing coverage on the anniversary of the water crisis on air, online, and on the TV5 mobile app.
A live look over Saginaw, where we soaked up that sunshine today before those clouds moved in.
We certainly did, but just how long can we expect this warm, sunny weather to stick around?
Well, for that answer, let's turn to TV5 meteorologist Kylie Miller in the First Warn 5 Weather Center. Hi, Kylie.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but today was the warmest day in the 7-day forecast, and now temperatures will be closer to normal for tomorrow, but I am going to be tracking some rain showers pushing into mid-Michigan tonight into our Friday morning. But right now, clouds are increasing, as you can see. As we take a live look over Birch Run, it looks like traffic is picking up for this hour, too. We're going to be in the middle of 2 disturbances. So both of these areas of low pressure are going to be moving into mid-Michigan, producing some rain showers overnight and into our Friday. But right now, as you can see, clouds just continuing to build on in. Temperatures across the region right now, we're in the 60s for most, if not. Look at West Branch and Houghton Lake, we're at 70 degrees. A little bit cooler in Port Hope. Right now we're at 55 degrees, 57 in Caseville, and temperatures will continue to drop down into the 50s under partly cloudy skies. I'll break down the full forecast coming up.
Kylie, thank you. After months of speculation, former Vice President Joe Biden is throwing his hat in the race to beat President Donald Trump in 2020.
Still ahead, find out where he stands among an already crowded field of Democratic candidates.
And a Texas high school is implementing a new dress code policy that has parents up in arms. Why it's causing controversy not only in the Lone Star State, but throughout the country as well.